I'm about to tell you that story, very close to my heart, and it involves me getting one of my friends arrested.
That was too easy. Made you flinch.
3-2.
Well, friend is. Well, so I got somebody arrested. That's the most important thing. Final year, university, doing the stay back time. I was chilling with my people. We were relaxing. But we were schooling was like really far from civilization. It's way up in the north. And around 11, we decided to go and get food from the bus station. We go back to the room, we're eating, we're arguing. I think it was LeBron and G type of argument or something like that. And then I got a knock on my door. And it happened to be somebody I hadn't seen in about 11 months, a year and a half or something like that. And he came to my room. He was looking faded. He was looking really, really, really faded. He got to my room. He came and sat on a chair. I'm invited. I mean, we were catching up on old times because we grew up together. We were just talking, vibing. And I think it was getting to like 1 a.m. and we were like, oh, Charlie, we're all going to sleep, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as everybody cleared out from the room, and it was just my roommate and I noticed my phone was missing. I was like, hey, how is it possible? So I just charged the phone. I put it on the study table and it's missing. And there were like 7 people in my room, including that friend of mine. And out of the 7, I know the 6 will never do. We'll never take it or anything because we live in the same area, we live in the same hostel. There's no way they'll take it. So the first person I decided to call, I had another phone, so I decided to call him because I had his number on that phone. He was like, nah, bro, I don't take the phone. Oh, nah, if I check. I was like, okay, calm. So I checked, I asked everybody, I want everybody to my ask, even set their things just to make sure like none of them took it by mistake. I got back to the room and I tried to retrace my steps and it still wasn't making sense. So the next morning, I decided to ask one of the friends who were with me the night before to help me go through like everybody's things to make sure like we're really, really clear that none of our friends took it. And I don't know, there was just this feeling in my soul that this guy took the phone. And funny enough, I told a friend who went around that so and so came and I think he took my phone, blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah, he just came from the station, somewhere like 6:30. He said he met him at the station. I was like, how is it possible? It doesn't make sense. What do you mean we didn't at the station at 6 a.m.? So we did further investigations. I had a friend who had friends who had friends. And we got to realize that that's what the guy has been doing on campus for like the past few weeks. He goes to people's hostels, he takes their stuff, and the next morning he sends it to the station, sends it to our car, and sells it and so many other things. So I decided to give him a call because for old time's sake, I was like, bro, my boy, we grew up together, we went to the same school, we go to the same church back at home. I know you. And if you've taken my phone, I'm not bothered. Just bring it because I need it. Because I actually had my project work on it. I was creating a software and I had the Android version on that phone. And it was still with the whole, bro, I swear to God, no be me, I take that thing, no be me, I promise you, I'll not take that thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was getting pissed because I think we're a few weeks from our final presentation. And I was like, nah, the way this guy is behaving and per the stories I've heard, I know he's the one who took the phone. So I gave him an ultimatum. I was like, see, I'm giving you to the end of the day. And it was a Friday. I'm giving you to the end of the day. They said, swearing on heaven and earth. He said he swears on his parents. It's not him, blah, blah, blah. I should forget, it's not him, he promises. So, luckily for us, in our hostel, we had police officers who usually came to watch football. And where they stayed was a bit close to our place. So that Friday evening, we decided to go and seek their advice. We told them about what happened and everything. And one of the policemen was like, you know what, it's a free Friday night, so just take the handcuffs and we'll go and arrest the guy. So we all walked together, myself, a few friends, and then the police officers. We walked to his hostel. And funny enough, I don't know how to describe, but the situation in which we saw him was he was in somebody else's space, let's say like a locker or something, taking their guy. And I don't think the person was aware because it was very quiet, it was dark, and it was fetching the person's guy. And that's what made the police people quite suspicious and said, nah, this has to be the guy. So they quickly cuffed him and they said, oh, we are going to the police station. They started begging, oh, boy, don't make me, bro. And when I said he was faded because at that time, I don't know, but I think he was on something. I don't know what it was, but he was really, really faded. We took a tricycle, we went to the police station, they made me write a report. And I had a friend who was the eyewitness. He was like my key witness in the whole thing. He also wrote his version of the story when the police asked for a witness for the reports. And the guy was still swearing heaven and earth. So he was there for Friday night, I think Saturday night, and then Sunday morning I received a call from the dean of students asking me to come to the police station. And they were mad at me. They were like, when something like this happens, you have to come to the school and report. You don't take things into your own hands. And I was like, come on. Every final year in the university, we're grown-ups. There's no one going to let a couple of adults decide something that could have been decided earlier if you had just given me back my phone. And then the weirdest thing happened. They told me that his mom is around. So I looked around and I saw a lady who looked so familiar because the year before, my cousin got married and the person was somebody I met at the wedding. And it turns out his mother is somehow my auntie-in-law because she's the aunt of my cousin's wife, my cousin-in-law, sister-in-law, wife-in-law. It turns out that we're in one big family tree by law. And she came to me and was like, oh, my son, don't you remember me? We were at the wedding together, blah, blah. And I felt so bad. I felt so horrible at that moment. But I realized I wasn't wrong because his mom never said, there's no way my son can do this. So she was like, I understand your brother, but sometimes you have to consider him. You know, he's not feeling well, blah, 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 blah. So I think the final decision was his mom said she would buy the phone for me. Because till date, he still claims that he never took the phone. His mom ended up buying the phone. He spent 2 nights in prison. And right after they released him, he still came to my room after that saying nothing happened. And that has to be one of the weirdest days of my life. Yeah. Today. Keep it at the camp. I forgot what the story was. Mark came and stole my phone.